What is up, YouTube? JankyYGO here. My name is Michael, and in this video, I'm going over some new cards coming out. This is a TCG Premier card coming out in Darkwing Blast. This was shown by the official Konami Twitter page. And what does it do? Well, it's a link to, and its arrows are left and just straight down. And it's two effect monsters that can't be used as link material to turn it as link summon. If a monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you contribute one fiend instead. You target one fiend monster in your graveyard, except for itself, and then you can discard one card, and if you do, you special summon that monster. You can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except fiends. So, what is this card? How good is it? And what is my opinion on it? Well, the downside of this card, the main downside, because the restricting you to fiends, there's actually ways to play around that. And if it wasn't for the fact that this card cannot be used as link material, you could actually play this in Evil Twins, because Evil Twins have that restriction anyway, except for from the extra deck. As far as the other effects go, it's okay. The discard, it's worth noting, is not a cost. Wait, hold on. Yeah, it is. Never mind. Let me just zoom in on the card text. Is a semicolon discard special summon that card? Okay, yeah, it's not a cost. So it's not a cost to discard a card and everything. So you could summon back a Dark World, for example, and then get a discard effect off that if you really wanted to build it. Make this in Dark Worlds, but I don't know how good that is in my opinion. I think this card is okay, and we'll have to see if it goes anywhere. But we're gonna move on to a new thing, which is Chaos Synchro with actual Chaos Synchro monsters. So, without further ado, let's just jump into this. Chaos Witch is a level 4 Dark Spellcaster effect with 1500 attack and 1500 defense, so it is a Gizmech target. You can only use one of the first and second effects of this card's name per turn, and only once that turn. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate either of this card's effects, except for light and dark synchro monsters, which is a good thing because these next effects are absolutely busted. Which is, if that wasn't the case, which is tribute this card to special summon two black beast tokens. They're fiends with darks, they're level 2s, and they have 1000 attack, 1500 defense. If this card is banished from your hand or graveyard, you can special summon two white beast tokens, and they're fairy tuner, light, level 2 with 500 attack and 1000 defense. So, the idea is you tribute this away, you summon the two tokens, and then you synchro summon with them, and go into all kinds of other plays. And then later you can banish this card in a different turn. It has to be a different turn because you don't get both these effects in a turn. So just keep that in mind. To summon the other tokens, which are tuners. So yeah. Overall, I think this card's pretty decent. It definitely would. I'm not gonna say it's a great card. Because the fact is, it would be a good card in my opinion if you could use both. If you could use both, this card would be absolutely busted, or at least very powerful. So yeah, that's my opinion on this card. I think it's kind of fine, but we'll have to wait and see because Chaos is a very powerful archetype. So next up is Shell of Chaos at the level 4 Dark Machine effect monster with 1600 attack, 0 defense. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned with a card effect. You can only use the first and second of the card effect once per turn each. You can banish one light monster from your hand or graveyard to special summon this card from. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except for light and dark synchro monsters. If it's got a special summon, you can target one of your banished core of chaos. Special summon it. If this card leaves the field, banish it. So, it is worth noting that this card does activate to summon itself. It's not a unclassified effect that just summons itself, like BLS, Envoy of the Beginning, or Chaos Sorcerer, or even Chaos Emperor Dragon. Those cards do not start a chain when they summon. So they just summon themselves, and then your opponent has a response to negate and stuff like that. This does not. This activates in the hand and then does that. It's also worth noting that you can banish cards from your hand, so you don't have to set up. For example, with the previous card, you can banish it from your hand, get the 2 tokens, and summon this, so you can go into a 6 and then an 8 and link and synchro up from there. We'll have to see how relevant that is and what good synchro fixes there are going to be that are light or dark, though. So, yeah. We're going to move on to Core of Chaos. It's a level 2 Light Thunder tuner effect monster with 0 attack and 1600 defense. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned with a card effect. And its first and second effects are hard once for turns each. You banish 1 dark from your hand or graveyard to special summon this card. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except for this. Okay. If this card is special summon, you can target 1 Shell of Chaos and special summon it, and then it's banished if it leaves the field. So the idea is you banish one of these to summon the other one out. That's pretty cool in my opinion. I don't and the fact that it also has synergy with the Chaos Witch and other Chaos cards as well makes this a interesting archetype so far. Just a general good Chaos deck by the looks of it, or decent. So we'll have to see how the rest of the cards pan out, but it does look cool. I definitely think these cards so far are a little too fair, though, to see competitive play, but maybe I'm wrong. So, we're going to move on to Mind Tuner. It's a light level 3 Psychic Tuner effect with 200 attack, 2100 defense. Its first effects are hard once per turn. You can only activate one of these effects. So banish 1 light and or dark from your hand and or graveyard to increase or decrease the level by this card by banish. You can target up to 2 of your banished monsters, 1 light and 1 dark, return them to the graveyard, and if you do, increase this level by the number returned until the end of the turn. So this is a tuner that can get up to a level 5 if you need it. It is also it's worth noting that this is also a target for specifically emergency teleport, but honestly, in my opinion, I think you're better off getting either Punk Ziaman and doing, the Punk combo over summoning this. But that's just my opinion. So, we're going to move to Chaos Mirage Dragon. So, this is a Chaos version of Mirage Dragon. If you don't know what Mirage Dragon is, it is an old monster with the same attribute and stats as this one and level. So they were both a level 4 light so with 1600 attack, 600 defense. The difference is that Chaos or Mirage Dragon, old Mirage Dragon was specifically a dragon, not a tuner, and had an effect where your opponent cannot activate traps during the battle phase. This one, however, has the effect of you can target 1 light or dark monster, special summon to your field, or that is banished, by the way. But its effects are negated. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except light and dark. Synchro monsters that discards in your graveyard or sent to the graveyard as synchro material. Dark cards your opponent controls up to the number of other synchro materials used and banish them. This effect is very, very powerful. It is, since it's a tuner, and it seems like you're going to be wanting to go into level 8 synchros. If you were to banish something like the Chaos Switch that we saw earlier, right? It makes 2 tokens that are, or you have to tribute them to get the non-tuner tokens. But if you summon out this, and you summon out that witch, and you tribute those, you summon the 2 tokens, you synchro summon, you can banish up to 2 cards your opponent controls, which is very, very powerful. Using this as synchro material is going to lead to like all kinds of shenanigans and really like powerful plays. I think this is card summoning it, it's a little, might be a little difficult. I know it's going to eat up your normal summon, but because it doesn't have a way to like special summon it. but I think this card is powerful. And you can also make an argument that since these cards say for the rest of the turn, you can make your link plays and stuff like that. And Crystron Halki Fibrax, for example, is limited over here in the TCG. So what you can do is you can summon these monsters, go into Halki Fibrax, and then summon this out in defense, and then synchro summon into an 8, and then get that effect where you get to banish 2 cards. That's a very powerful thing. And even if you only get to banish 1, I think it's worth mentioning that that's still very powerful. But we're going to move on to our level 8 Dark Fiend Synchro effect called Chaos Archfiend. It is 2500 attack, 1800 defense, and requires 1 light tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner dark monsters. Its third effect is a hard once per turn. Gains 2000 attack. During the turn, a card is banished. This card can attack all your opponent's monsters once each. Also, destroyed monsters monsters destroyed by battle with this card are banished instead of being sent to the graveyard. And then its third effect says, if this card in its owner's control leaves the field by their opponent, you special summon Chaos Synchro monster from your extra deck except for itself. So there are other Chaos monsters. I believe there's like Chaos Goddess, for example, that is just no one's played. It's an old card, but no one's really played it because it's a little bit too difficult to bring out, but it kind of seems like this archetype is kind of working towards that, which is very cool. The second effect synergizes well with the first effect, and the fact that is you just throw out another one can also mean really cool things. The next thing to bring up is that it is an Archfiend, and Archfiends have a lot of support, so that's really, really cool. So overall, I think this is a fine card. I don't really have anything too negative to say about it, but we're going to move to our level 6 synchro monster, which is what I was saying is that they need a level 6 to be any decent, and hopefully this card is good. So it is a level 6 Dark Fiend synchro effect monster called Chaos Beast. It's a level, or has 2000 attack, 1800 defense, and requires a light tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner darks. Its second and third effect are hard ones per turn each, and its first effect says it gains 1000 attack during the turn a card or cards is banished. You can target one of your banished light or dark monsters and add them to your hand, or add it to your hand, so you only get one. If this card in your graveyard, except the turn was sent there, you can banish 1 light and dark from your hand and or graveyard to special summon this card. Overall, I think this card is fine. It's a good link climber or synchro climber. And yeah, overall, I don't have much to say about this card. It does get one of your banished light or darks back. So, for example, if you are playing hand traps, you could be playing like Valor and DD Crow, right? And then you can banish those to summon some of your other monsters, and then you can get one of those hand traps back. That would be really cool. This also recycles some of the other cards that we talked about already, of course, not to mention other chaos cards in general. So yeah, very cool card. But our last but not least is Chaos Phantasm. It is a normal trap card in which you target 2 of your banished that have a level 1 light tuner and 1 level 8 or lower dark non-tuner. Return those to the graveyard, then special summon 1 light or dark synchro from your extra deck whose level equals to that monster. Note this is not treated as a synchro summon. The idea behind this card is to kind of get out these harder to get cards, so it's not treated as a synchro summon. So if that monster leaves, you can't monster reborn it, you can't summon it back. Just keep that in mind when you play this card, that once that monster leaves the field in any way, shape, or form, you can't summon it back unless they put it into your extra deck or you summon another copy from said extra deck. You can't summon it back from your banished or your graveyard. Just in case anyone wants clarification on that, that's the official TCG ruling. Monsters have to be properly special summoned. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. You can tell me what you think of these cards down in the comment section below. I think the Chaos cards are kind of cool, and I'm hoping We get more specifically of this synchro chaos deck because I think it's awesome and I like synchros more than most other mechanics. If it is your birthday today, happy birthday! And if you want to send meaningful deck profiles or replays, you can send them to JankyYGO at gmail.com. And of course, and as always, have a wonderful day.